Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my updated FIVEM tutorial for the new version of QuantV, October 2023. Alright, so first, let's get into it right here. First, what you're going to want to do is, it is a paid mod. Go to the Patreon Quant Mods, buy the $10, subscribe the $10 monthly, and then get the QuantV October, file, alright? There's gonna be instructions once you what is it called? There's gonna be instructions once you subscribe. All right, I'm not allowed to say those, but all right. So once you download the file from the instructions, this is what you're gonna have. This is what we're gonna see, okay? And one more thing, by the way, I do recommend WinRAR if you would like more optionals, and I'll get into that soon. So first, what you're gonna have install FIVEM application data plugins. This is a ENB. This is completely optional, but it's highly recommended. All right. What you're gonna want to do is go to your FIVEM application data, which if you don't know where that is, go to your search, look up FIVEM, right click it, open file location, right click, open file location, FIVEM application data, and then boom, right? You're gonna have a mods and plugins folder. Some people don't. If you don't, just make them exactly like this, lowercase m, lowercase p. Just make them. Plugins folder, as you can see, they correspond. Open your plugins folder. I already have everything in here, but what you're going to want to do is just drag this all in here. It's that simple, right? For the best results, you're also going to want to drag it into your GTA 5 main directory. Boom, boom, right? Should know where that is. If you don't, well then shoot. Just close out the file. Alright, so once you've installed the ENB series, we can go over some optionals now. You've got performance quality stuff, reshade plus ENB. So if you don't have ENB installed, if you decide not to install this, then you can go ahead and install reshade. But reshade plus ENB absolutely destroys your performance. I know I don't have a very high-end PC, I'm not gonna lie, so I honestly don't have reshade on. Reshade plus ENB, like I said, performance killer. All right, these I don't have any of these on. I just have default ENB. Only use these if you know what you're doing, right? If you don't have OpenIV, which is a GTA 5 mod installer, this is where WinRAR is gonna come in handy. You're gonna right click this, gonna do view file, and this is the contents of the file without having to open up OpenIV. Alright, go to content, GTA folder, and here you go. Sometimes they may look weird, it may look like, all this. That's fine, it's still perfect. Just drag and drop everything into your application data, ENB, QuantV, boom, 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 right? So we're good for that, right? Optional presets like volumetric clouds, Starfield Galaxy. This is some good stuff, right? What you're gonna want to do is whatever you want. Say I want the, I want cool raindrops, right? First of all, it's another OIV file. Racing style, vehicle windshield, blah blah blah. Like I said, view file, content, GTA folder, ENB series QuantV, and just highlight all of this, put it in here. Alright, it's perfectly fine. Nothing's gonna happen. If something does happen, you can DM me in my Discord also. Volumetric clouds, blah blah blah, OIV, all this stuff. So once you've done all your stuff, all your optionals and stuff, we're gonna have a mods folder that's pretty empty. Not for me, of course, but it's empty. If there's a structure revival file in there, just leave that. What you're gonna want to do, go back to install, and then this basemod.url, you're gonna want to double click this, open up something, and this is the FIVEM file. You're gonna want to hit download, and then this is gonna start downloading again. Once this is downloading, you're gonna want to open it up. This is the file just for FIVEM, right? This is the good stuff. You have the same stuff here. Install FIVEM application data, mods, and then basemod.rpf. What you're going to want to do is drag this into your mods folder, like so. For me, it says replace because I already have it in there, of course, so I'm just going to replace it anyway. Alright, there you go. Basically, that's QuantV. I'm not going to lie. With no optionals, that is QuantV. But for the sake of this video and for the sake of tutorials, we're going to go into optionals, optional presets, and then this is some FIVEM stuff that we have here, right? So you can see FIVEM application data, mods. There we go. .rpf files always go in your mods folder. Alright? They always do. They don't go anywhere else. They don't go to GTA. They only go in your mods folder. Not plugins, not GTA, not anything. Alright, motion blur. Enabled in FIVEM. I already have it, of course. So I'm just going to drag and drop this in here. Let's say you want disable volumetric nights at light, which I also have. Screenshot comparison if you want to see as well. Mods, disable volumetric lights, drag and drop. Blizzard weather, brighter emergency lights, very bright and then bright. Of course I have that as well. So there you go. That's literally QuantV. The new version of QuantV. It's a bit more complicated, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, that's QuantV. One thing to note though, for both files, there is an uninstall. Right, this is only for OpenIV. Do not mess with this uninstall file. If you want to uninstall it out of your mods and application data folder, FIVEM, all that stuff, just delete basemod, delete QV3, all this stuff, delete ENB series, delete from your GTA main directory. It's that simple, alright? So now that we're done with the tutorial, I'm going to go in and show you guys my settings and basically just like a pretty quick preview. Okay, here we are in FIVEM. What the fuck is this? This is what your game is going to look like pretty much. It looks pretty good, pretty solid. I like it a lot. Early morning, noon, early afternoon, evening, midnight. Of course, it shines the most at midnight, just like any graphic mod. Of course, amazing, right? So, you're going to see at the top, I'm getting a solid 60 to 70 FPS here. And I'm going to show you my GTA settings right now. Like I said, I don't have a very beefy PC. Holy shit, that is not supposed to be like that. As I said, I don't have a very beefy PC, right? So these are my settings right here. I have FXAA on. MSAA, I have that off because it destroys your FPS. You know, if you really can't stand the jagged edges and anti-aliasing, then you're going to want to turn that on. But like I said earlier, that's only if you have a beefy PC. Me personally, I do not. So I'm just going to leave that off. You know, I've gotten used to the jagged edges. They're fine. Population, density, and variety down here. That's just if you want like a bunch of NPC cars. Don't worry, they're not going to like... They're not really going to affect, like, you know, 5PD servers or anything like that. Just turn those down all the way for me. Distance scaling, only have that up like a little bit. For me, you know, that kills your FPS if you have it up too much. You know, like I said, if you're having trouble, you know, maybe it doesn't look good with distance scaling stuff far away, then turn that up a little bit, but that's why I have it too. Extended texture budget, this is very important. If you're experiencing texture loss, then you're gonna want to turn that up. Me personally, I'm not, so I'm just keeping that there. You know, texture budget is very important. Texture quality, I have that on normal. I do not give a shit about the textures. Honestly, that's just me personally. If you do care about them, then you can have them, you know, high, very high, whatever you feel like. That's just me personally. Destroy your FPS. Shader quality, you're gonna want shader quality, shadow, and reflection quality all high or above for QuantV. If you don't have this on high or above, then it's not gonna look very good. That's just a thing. Reflection MSA, have that off. Just have it off. Come on. Water and particles quality. First off, I don't give a shit about water. That's just me personally. Like I don't go on FIVEM and swim in water. it does not matter that much. Alright, I don't care about the water. Particles quality. That's like for explosions and stuff. Sure, bitch ass. Particles quality is only for like explosions and gunshots and stuff. It does not really matter that much. You can have that on normal. Grass quality, I have that on high. It definitely plays a number on your FPS, but on normal, it just doesn't look that good, and I like vegetation a lot, so I have grass quality on high. If you are still having problems with FPS, turn that all the way down to normal. I'm being so serious. Turn that all the way down to normal. Does not do super good for your FPS. Soft showers, you're going to want to have that on softest or softer, whatever you feel like, you know. Post FX, you're going to want to have that on ultra, just like shader quality, shadow, and reflection quality. If you don't have that on ultra, then, you know, QuantV is just not going to look so good. Motion blur strength, come on, man. You don't need the GTA motion blur. Shit, anyway. In-game depth of field effects, have that off. They're just not super good. And then anisotropic filtering, have that on X16. It's like a sharpener. Makes things look really good. Higher the better. Doesn't really do anything for your FPS. Ambient occlusion, have that on high. Ambient occlusion is what makes everything better. That's like big shadows and all that stuff. Like, you know, big shadows. There you go. Tessellation, I do not know what that does, so I'm having that off. One big thing about VSync, some people don't know what VSync means. VSync is if you experience something called screen tearing, which I obviously don't experience for FIVEM. Screen tearing is like, it's almost like a VHS effect, like once in a while your screen, like it's hard to explain. I'll put up a picture of what it is here. It's hard to explain, but if you have screen tearing and you just can't stand it, then turn that on. It locks your FPS to your monitor's refresh rate. For example, my monitor's refresh rate is 75 Hertz. Therefore, if I put VSync on, it's going to lock my FPS at 75. One important thing, if you press the Shift-Enter, then you're going to pull up the ENB menu. This may look very intimidating at first, but I believe you, ENB is your friend, right? If you check Use Effect, this is what raw QuantV looks like with no ENB. As you can see, I'm getting 150 over 100 FPS. This is insane. That's without ENB. And then we put it on. Game looks amazing, but I'm down to 60. All right. I personally prefer ENB on. There is an option in QuantV for no ENB, which is pretty chill. Some things about ENB though. If you go to night and then turn ENB off, you're gonna see those streaks, those red streaks up there, right? And the street lights are, you know, yellow again. First off, those streaks, that's a QuantV thing that only happens when you have ENB off. All right. Nobody likes those. Turn ENB back on. One other thing, I do hear a lot of people complain about, like, you know, oh, they want everything more vibrant, more saturated, right? Your boys got your back. On the left-hand side. My bad, y'all. My dumbass thought that the right side was left. You've got all these effects that you can drop down. Click on enbeffect.fx. Scroll down. All right, and then you have all this stuff: brightness, day, contrast, day, gamma, saturation, blah blah blah. This is very important. All right, if you want more saturated, then you can change this. Let's say 2. Look how saturated that is. Holy shit, that's amazing. I prefer it at 1.6. Perfect level of saturation. It's beautiful. Now let me change the day to night. At night, you can see the saturation faded. It's not here anymore. All right. So now what you're going to want to do, change the saturation to 1.6 again, or whatever you feel like. You know, it does not matter. One thing I like to do, I change the brightness for night up to 1.8. It makes the nights look beautiful and amazing, and just beautiful and amazing and beautiful and amazing, right? I think this is awesome. I love it. All right. Tweak ENB a little, you know. Don't be afraid to just mess around with this. It's perfectly fine, right? ENB adaptation, blah blah blah. Just, you know, mess around with this. Now for my ENB settings over here, effect. I uncheck some stuff because they're not needed. First of all, post-processing, yeah, keep that on. Original bloom, you're going to want to have that on. Bloom is amazing. Keep bloom on. Have that off. Post-pass shader is probably going to be on for you. Have that off. I do not like it. Adaptation is definitely going to be on for you. Have that off. Bloom, yes, obviously. You can see. Bloom is awesome. I love bloom. Lens, depth of field. Depth of field, I don't know what this is. It's not good. Ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion destroys your FPS. As you can see, this is without ambient occlusion. I'm getting solid 77 to 80 FPS, right? Turn it back on. And then down to 60. Let me turn it to day to show you guys what it does. And we're here at day. Let me turn, look, ambient occlusion on, off, on, off, on, off. Alright, it's not super big of a difference, but me personally, I feel like it kind of makes up all of QuantV. It's like the cornerstone, right? So I'm going to leave that on, especially because, you know, my performance with it on is still fine. You know, it's good, everything's fine, feeling great. You know, we chilling, right? So I'm going to keep that on. Of course, if you have bad FPS, turn that off. Subsurface scattering off. Skylighting. Skylighting is pretty self-explanatory. Detailed shadow off. Mapping shadow off. Rain reflections, yes. That is pretty self-explanatory. When it's raining, the puddles reflect perfectly. It's amazing. Shore and water. I don't even know what it does. Nobody cares about shore and water. Have that shit out. There you go. There's QuantV for October of 2023. Let me know how this tutorial went for you, and if you got any problems, tell me down in the comments. I'll respond pretty damn quickly. Of course, if you got any questions about anything, then let me know. You know, maybe talk in the QuantV Discord a little bit. Of course, you know, like I said, I'm not the best at support. I may not be able to help you. So obviously, if I can't help, don't be so pissed at me, because I've had that before. But you know, if I can't help, go to the QuantV Discord. You know, that's where it really is. Also, another thing, launcher leaks, the website. Be careful when you use it, man. They've got legitimate files there, but they're all outdated. And I actually downloaded a QuantV file from them one time, and it, thankfully, my antivirus caught it because it had Trojan in it. Yep. Speaking of which, I'm sure you may have heard that QuantV is a virus, but that's actually not true anymore. The person who made QuantV edited the files and removed the Trojan out of it. There's no Trojan virus. There's nothing anymore, okay? It's perfectly fine to download. It looks great. It's amazing. Come on.